Guys, it is time to talk about Magic the Gathering's new future. Guys, I wanted to make this video in relation to my last video where I was talking about Wizards' new approach to product overload, where they talked about this in the Foundations of Magic's Next Era panel at MagicCon Las Vegas. When I was making this video, it got me thinking about some other topics that I wanted to talk about, and that was, as I've said, the future of Magic the Gathering. This look at 2025 shows that there is big change coming to Magic the Gathering. Some people are going to love it, some people are going to hate it, so let's talk about it. I've seen that a lot of die-hard Magic the Gathering fans are super upset and they feel like that they are just being left by the wayside. Their opinions aren't really valued, and that Wizards are more accommodating for the newer player, regardless of how serious they are about the game, how long they stay in the game, and this could be quite damaging. So we could talk about the obvious thing, that there are now 3 Universes Beyond sets. So Universes Beyond is growing year after year after year. It started off as with the Walking Dead secret layers. That was all we got, a few secret layers. Then they started to release commander decks, then full sets, and now those sets are growing every year, and they're actually starting to replace Magic the Gathering regular sets. And we know this because Lorwyn was pushed back in favor of another Universes Beyond set. We don't know what that one is yet, but yeah, it's I could say it's a shame for some people. For the die-hard Magic fans, it is a shame for sure. And then, for people that are not yet playing the game, then I guess it's more potential, because something like Lorwyn has proved to be less encouraging to get people into the game rather than familiarity, like something that they already love. This is why Wizards are doing this, but the issue is that it's not all about getting new players into the game, because it's also about player retention. And if you are pissing off a lot of your fan base, all those players that are coming into your game is going to be counteracted by players leaving your game. And that's not nice, especially people that are invested into the game. You could argue that those people are way more valuable because they've already invested a ton of money into your game. They've been there for years, whereas these players haven't. So, it could be argued that Wizards should be putting their veteran players first before trying to accommodate for new players. I understand from a business point of view why Wizards are doing this. However, business isn't, I know it is the way the world works. I get that. I'm not one of these people that hate on this sort of thing. I understand that Wizards is a company and that profit should be their primary objective, because that's the way of the world. I'm afraid, like, that's how jobs are made. That's we're not gonna get into that and my thoughts on that, but it is a shame that Magic the Gathering has already kind of, in my opinion, they're lacking a little bit on the lore standpoint. Like, for example, right, I've been reading a lot of Warhammer novels, and it's so amazing how much story there is, and I would love to be able to delve into Magic the Gathering the same way, but it's just not there. Yes, there is Magic the Gathering lore, but we get like a very short story with each set, and then we get a article on the plane or whatever that we have to go read through. But there could be more, is what I'm saying. We are encouraged to explore these worlds through the cards, but now we aren't even getting that many sets. Let's take a look at the 2025 schedule. We're only getting 3 Magic the Gathering unique IP sets. Imagine if all of these were Magic the Gathering sets. Imagine if we were getting 6 unique sets. This is what it would have been like a few years ago before Universes Beyond. And that is all changing. And not only are we only getting 3 sets, but we're only actually getting 1 set that is truly like fantasy-esque, like Magic's foundations in Tarkir Dragonstorm, because Aether Drift and Edges of Eternities are now Magic's new vision of playing around with stuff outside of fantasy. Aether Drift is kind of like a jokey set, which they are clearly doing a lot of now, because they did this with Outlaws of Thunder Junction. It's like a wacky kind of set. Murders of Karlov Manor. Aether Drift is, I'm not saying it's going to be a bad set. In fact, I'm actually more excited about Aether Drift than I was about Outlaws of Thunder Junction and Murders of Karlov Manor. And people say that Outlaws of Thunder Junction wasn't actually a bad set to play. People just didn't like the flavor. And although I would prefer this to be just a traditional fantasy set, I'm not going to jump on the hate and bandwagon for Aether Drift. It actually looks like it could be quite funny. But the point is that Magic is clearly changing, and a lot of people are talking about the Universes Beyond stuff, but it isn't just that. It is also this approach to the whole modern-esque. So if you look at this now, as 2025 for Magic the Gathering as a whole, we're only getting one fantasy set. So the definition now of Magic the Gathering and what people think of as Magic the Gathering is ultimately changing. And that is obviously going to upset a lot of people. It's quite upsetting for me as well, because, you know, I love the fact that it's fantasy-esque. I think the whole thing of Universes Beyond with stuff like Lord of the Rings, it fits so well. Even Warhammer 40k, it's definitely, it works. It's not ideal because it's still sci-fi, but it works, right? But when you're starting to get all these other stuff like Marvel, like Final Fantasy, like if you look at the art of Final Fantasy, it's not Magic, you know. It's not very relatable. And superheroes, like, I love Marvel. Am I stoked about seeing Marvel come to Magic? I am quite happy about that, but I don't want that to take over Magic. Like, I would still rather Universes Beyond be a small part of Magic the Gathering. I don't want Magic to be like the Waste Wars. If you don't know, Waste Wars is like a card game that takes a load of different animes and puts them in one card game. I don't want Magic to be that for like non-anime stuff. You know, I don't want to say Magic the Gathering people and automatically think of Universes Beyond. Like, the IP itself, it should be strong enough to stand on its own. And it's sad to see them taking this route, slowly and slowly diluting that more and more. Now, I think this is going to be helped a lot with the Magic the Gathering show, and we could see if that takes off, this all switch, right? This isn't necessarily me saying Magic the Gathering is dead, you know, like the temptation is there to get it for the clicks and stuff like that, but it's not. It is changing. It can change again. And I think if that show does really well and people love the, now they want to crave more, they were like, give us more Magic the Gathering stuff, will we see more shows? And then because of that, we get sets to tie in with those planes and characters, and suddenly now Universes Beyond takes a little bit of a back seat. And maybe this is just a current strategy, I don't know. But yeah, for now, I know a lot of people are upset that play Standard and all these other formats because they were able to essentially escape and avoid Universes Beyond. There's no doing that now. They have decided to make Universes Beyond legal in everything. So you are going to see Universes Beyond cards in your Magic games. You are not going to be able to escape Spider-Man in your Standard games. He's going to be there, you know. So, and noticeably, a lot of people feel like their game is dying, and I can really sympathize with that. Even though I'm not in your scenario per se, I can sympathize with that, and I do feel for those people that this is affecting in that way. But yeah, I don't want to get in too much of a rant about this. I think I've said what I've needed to say. In terms of the future, who knows? Let's just ride this out. Let's see how this goes. On the upside, Tarkir Dragonstorm looks like it's going to be an amazing set. I really hope that they do that set some justice. I'm looking forward to the Marvel stuff to see what they do with it, and we'll see. You know, we'll see. To round up this video, to give my personal opinion, give us more fantasy stuff. You know, don't make Magic the Gathering more, you know, modern sci-fi superheroes. Like, please, let's keep it to its roots. Let's keep the fantasy stuff and let's dabble in the other stuff, you know. But that's all I'm going to say about it. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that video, guys. If you liked the video, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Okay, I always love to hear your guys' thoughts, and you want to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my future content and of my future little rambles like this. Until then, guys, I will see you in the next video. Cheers.